I've been doing more and more gigs just with the HX effects as a pedal board, and I've been using more and more the Line 6 HX Stomp XL. When I do theater work, I tend to use the Kemper now because the companies tend to homogenize that sound. When they have different guitarists, they want the same sound, so they tend to have, in-house Kemper. And I play through quite a few modelers now, the various quad Cortex, and a lot of friends have different type of modelers. And I noticed that these sounds are actually getting better and better, but there are still three things that models can do from somebody that has been using mostly amps for a good 30 years. First is the physical vibration of and sympathetic vibration of the string with the speaker. Obviously, now you can add an FR speaker to the modeler to get obviously that guitar sound, that real guitar sound, by basically avoiding miking up the cab, so sending the sound directly to the front of house. But in many situations, that's not possible. It's not possible to have a speaker on stage, or the volume of the speaker on stage is so low anyway that you can't really hear it with the in-ears on, and it doesn't really interact with the guitar as such. So I think there is a need for something that is physical, like bass players have those pads that they stand on, that vibrate, or I know that there were some straps that have the back of the shoulder as an element that vibrates as well. But I think for guitar it's slightly different, the need where you need the guitar or the string to vibrate sympathetically with the speaker. So there's a need for something that is either connected to the headstock or that goes through, you use the signal from the cable to make the guitar vibrate, to produce feedback, to produce sympathetic vibration of the string with the sound that you're producing to get more sustain, so to speak. So rather than just the physicality of the feeling the sound, so to speak, feeling the air coming from the speaker, I'm talking about sustain and not having to overdo the sounds, so to speak, like overhype the sounds to get the sustain, and getting the sustain naturally through volume. Obviously, the volume is not there. It's just the sympathetic vibration between the sound that is coming through the system and the guitar. So maybe that will be eventually sorted somehow. But I'm looking forward to that because I do miss that element when I play with just purely in-ears. I find that from somebody that's been playing a good volume, that feedback between the guitar and the speaker is not quite there, especially if you want to do like rock gigs. Definitely is where it's missing, where you want that feedback. Maybe it's something that was born in the 60s, 70s and is dead. Maybe that was that technique. The second thing that is connected to that is that tube amplifiers, unlike transistor amps or Class D amps and stuff like that, the sound changes through time, and I really like that at most gigs. Because obviously, as a musician, when you start playing, you're a bit cold, so to speak. And as you get playing, the drummer gets louder. Everybody warms up, so you play more confidently. And I find that I always like the fact that tube amps get cooking, so to speak, over time. The sound becomes richer, the sound becomes slightly louder, not like crazy loud, but the distortion gets smoother. So the overdrive gets smoother, so to speak. Even the clean sound gets a bit more saturated. So maybe there will be a point where these modelers will have enough capacity, will have enough processing power that will be, we will be able to switch that on and off. So if you want sound, let's say you're doing a rockier gig, so to speak, and you want that sensation of the amp getting warmer through a particular amount of time, it will be possible to achieve that. Or if you want just a controlled sound, because obviously for a sound engineer point of view, it's better to have the same volume from the beginning to the end, even though realistically you don't have the same volume from a drummer or an acoustic instrument, because usually drummers tend to warm up through the gig and they play more confidently, and that translates into slightly higher volume. So I hope that with time we will be able to have that option of or having an amp where you can select how the sound changes through time, so to speak, like you would do at a proper rock gig. The third one And I don't know if it's just me, but and if you don't have this experience, please put it in the comments, because I still have not found, as much as I've tried quite a few different systems and modelers and however you want to call them, even the Tonex, which I believe that to be the most accurate. I do have the plug-in form of that. It doesn't quite capture the sparkle of the top end, and I don't know if it's to do with the limitation of maybe the microphone in front of the amp, or how the amp is captured. But I always find, especially with some particular amps, like the good Vox amps and the good, like Divided by 13, are very good for that. Really open top end, so to speak. I've not really heard that yet, and I don't know if maybe there's a limitation of the in-ear system, monitoring system, but there is something particular about playing through a very good tube amp, especially even like the bigger Fenders out there, like the Vibrolux. They have this really sparkly top end that for some gigs is very, it's very useful. It gives you, it's very inspiring, so to speak, to play through, and it really makes it easier to play in some situations, not all. But yeah, I'd love to see that improve. Obviously, modelers have massive positives. Otherwise, they would have not been so successful. And first of all, portability and the fact that you can have every effect under the sun in such a small box and every possible routing, that's amazing, without having any lead failing, so to speak. But yeah, let me know if you feel that that my thoughts are correct or not. If you found a solution to any of these things. All right, I hope you really enjoyed this video and resonated with you somehow. If you found any value in it, as always, please send it to somebody that might find some value as well. Share it through social media, like, subscribe, the usual stuff. And because that the more you like the video, the more the algorithm will suggest it to other people. So this can be shared through the guitar community in a way. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.